This will get me in trouble with the entire country of Germany. I think it's safe to say at this point, Germany holds a special place in my heart. I've traveled to Germany about 4 times in the last year and a half, and I wanted to kind of give you guys my unpopular opinions on the country as a whole, and the culture as well. So if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I started off reacting to German rap, and then we kind of evolved into this thing we have here. And it's been pretty cool. I've learned a whole lot. But today, like I said, we're going to be going over some of my most unpopular opinions that have gotten me in some trouble in Germany specifically. And let's not waste any time. Let's start off with the first one, which is the notorious punctuality. Now, I'm not talking about the Deutsche Bahn. That's an easy dunk. I mean actual punctuality, showing up on time or even a few minutes early. That is a myth. From my experience with meeting up with people at certain locations, or maybe showing up at an event that starts at a certain time, people weren't as on time as I expected, especially like people who were hosting events. Now, obviously there were anomalies that affected these circumstances, like weather or outlying factors and stuff like that, or maybe the Deutsche Bahn did have a part to play for some of the people that were supposed to show up and host some events or whatever, right? Or let's not even talk about events. Let's just talk about meeting up with friends. My friends would show up late. My friends would show up late. Not every time, but enough of the time for it to be, oh, okay. Obviously the punctuality thing was maybe something of the past, and maybe there might be some new generated culture shocks and stuff like that that might be more true than the punctuality one, because from what I saw, that definitely was not a thing. I have a few examples, but I'll just use one. Basically, there was this last time that I went to Germany. I was supposed to meet up with my manager and my entire crew for this camper tour. Now, if you guys don't know what the camper tour was, it was basically a tour where I started at the top of Germany and wound up traveling from the top of Germany to the bottom of Germany, back up to the top of Germany with a group of friends and some creators and whatnot. And the goal was to see as much of Germany as possible in a short period of time. The goal in mind was to see as much of Germany as possible in a short time. Did I bite off more than I can chew? Well, based on what I just told you guys, what do you think? Anyways, I show up to the event, the meeting place, and I got there maybe 30 minutes early, and a friend of mine also got there 30 minutes early as well. Now, the rest of everybody showed up 30, 40 minutes late. And that was using various forms of transportation, one being a taxi, a personal vehicle, and the Deutsche Bahn. So I was like, hey man, this is my 4th time traveling to Germany at this point, and I had already experienced other events and things where people were not on time, and I'm like, okay, cool. Punctuality's out the window. In conclusion. Next, the weather. Now, the number one thing that I hear Germans complain about is how crappy the weather is in the country, okay? Especially my people from Hamburg. All right, let me let y'all know something. My unpopular opinion is that weather is fire. I love it, okay? Now, me personally, I love it when it rains. I love it when the weather is cold. Matter of fact, earlier in the year of last year when I traveled to Germany and stuff and it was a lot warmer, I had a whole wardrobe of long sleeve shirts and pants and what have you, all the essentials for the fall and winter time. I do not, to this day, have a wardrobe filled with summer clothes, because I love being wrapped up like a burrito or bundled up in a bunch of clothes. That's just how I operate. And yeah, that's not the case in Germany. People love to go outside and enjoy nice weather, objectively nice weather, but nice weather for me would be cold weather. And you know, it's different. Now see, warm weather brings about different problems, and that's why I do not like warm weather. One of those things being bugs. Now, as I mentioned in an earlier video, you guys have wasps everywhere. They're friendly wasps, but they're wasps nonetheless. You're less likely to see these wasps in the wintertime versus the summertime. So there's not hardly any bugs in the wintertime because it's too damn cold. And then also, it's easy to warm yourself up. It is harder to cool yourself down, especially in a country that does not believe in air conditioning units. Okay. So for me, when I saw that it was cloudy and rainy and cold, especially in Hamburg, I loved it. I fell in love with it immediately. I mean, and it was like that every day. It wasn't like, oh, every few days maybe, or maybe once a month or once a year. It was most of the time. Now, yes, there were days that had clear skies, good objective weather, but for the most part, it was cold, and I love that. I mean, I don't know why you guys don't like it. I think the weather in Germany is fire, and the next time I come back, I will be bringing my winter wardrobe with me. So let's move on to the the next point. Carnival. I have yet to attend Carnival. Now that is a wondrous festival that I keep seeing all over the internet. I keep seeing people dress up in these little costumes. They get cool, they get calm collected. No, they get turned. People go absolutely ballistic on Carnival. They get drunk almost like Oktoberfest, except they're in costumes and not dirndl and lederhosen, which some people would consider costume. You know what I mean? Like it seems like a very good time. It also seems like it's Halloween. Carnival is basically an extendo clip version of Halloween for Germans, and that's my unpopular opinion. Now for Germans, if you say that, they're not gonna be like, no, it's not Halloween. Halloween's different. Now I know Halloween, the theme is normally spooky, scary stuff. I would call Carnival a positive, festive Halloween that does not center around wearing creepy clothes. That would be actual Halloween, which isn't really celebrated that much in Germany. I mean, it's celebrated, but not to the degree that it is in the United States, for instance. So Carnival is basically Halloween. Personal opinion, but I could be wrong in your eyes. You let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, don't get it twisted. I need to experience Carnival. You guys have been telling me to experience Carnival for years now, and that's one of the few things I have not done in Germany. I guess I should say that's one of the many things I haven't done in Germany, because I haven't done everything, but I have been around the block once or twice or 3 times in that country, so I feel like I have done quite a bit. Even in my last trip where I traveled to roughly about 16 different cities in a short amount of time. I didn't do everything because, of course, I was on a time crunch, but next time we might be able to do a lot more with what we got. Carnival is definitely in the cards, for sure. So cue your clocks for 2026. I'm taking a year break from Germany, just letting you guys know. Now, this particular statement, I'm gonna go ahead and preface with a warning, because this will get me in trouble with the entire country of Germany. Not sure how you guys are gonna feel about this, and I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart, because this almost will feel like a personal attack, and it is not. I promise, it is not. It is just something I've experienced. Now, I have had this specific dish in several different countries. I'm living in South Korea, so I've had it here. I've had it in the United States, I've had it in the Netherlands, and I've had it in Germany. And I will tell you this right now. Germany has some of the driest pretzels I've ever had in my entire life. Arguably, I think America makes better pretzels than Germany. Now, I know you guys probably threw up in your mouth a little bit, but I am not joking when I say that. Germany has very good ingredients for the pretzels, but the ingredients are great if the pretzel's tender. I've had warm pretzels, but they were slightly overcooked, so they were very crunchy on the outside and definitely crunchy on the inside too. But in America, I've had more times than not very soft pretzels, those big German pretzels. Maybe it's just, you know, America caters to the American palate, so of course I'm gonna think the American pretzel's better. I don't hate the German pretzel, it's just genuinely dry. It feels like it has to go with something, like it has to go with a mustard or it has to go with a ketchup. But the pretzels I've had in America and elsewhere are all genuinely soft, and they don't feel like they need to go with anything. I mean, you can add it as a bonus, but they don't need something to go with them. They don't need a condiment. German pretzels, generally speaking, need a condiment. Just the pretzel itself is not enough. Now, again, I don't dislike the pretzels. I feel like dry pretzels have a place. I mean, I appreciated them every time I had them, but they were dry. They were dry. And that's something I'm not sure if people were clocking already, or maybe, you know, maybe they weren't. Maybe that's not a thing. Maybe it is a thing. I think the only time I think I did have pretzels that were somewhat soft was when I went to go visit a special place in Munich. They were very good. They were definitely soft, the softest pretzels I've ever had in Germany. But then I realized, I'm like, I have only had dry ass pretzels in Germany. So that's gonna be one for the books, and I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, so let me know in the comments down below. I do think America makes better pretzels than Germany. Sorry, not sorry. You let me know how you feel about that in the comments. For my people who have traveled to America and have traveled to Germany and have tried pretzels in America and have tried pretzels in Germany. And I'm talking about the big ones that you see at festivals and stuff like that. How do you feel about that? Now, this last one might also give me some backlash, but maybe not with Germany, but with the rest of the world. So I will stand on my 10 toes and say this as loud as I possibly can, and this unpopular opinion is going to come with some backlash, but again, not from Germany. Germans are funny as fuck. Okay, Germans are funny as fuck. Now, it's funny. A lot of the world will tell you that Germans do not have a sense of humor. You just don't understand their humor, okay? They have some of what seems to be the driest humor on the planet. And when you understand the context and, you know, the language a little bit, it's not dry at all, bruh. It's dark. I would argue Germans have some of the darkest humor I have ever seen. And I know dark, I mean, sheesh, look at it. They got some of the darkest humor I have ever seen and heard, okay? And I love it. I love it. It's very refreshing in a world where everybody is so sensitive to everything. It's hard to enjoy good satire these days, especially in the States, man, especially in the States. People are very ironic when it comes to comedy, right? And humor. They're like, oh, you can make fun of these things, but not these things. But then these would be the same people that would turn around and go on the internet and say some very egregious things that are funny and satirical, but they would never say them in person because they can hide behind a profile picture on the internet and they cannot in person. Now in Germany, Germany's different. They'll crack a few decent ones in person. They will crack a few wild ones in person. Okay, now the jokes that they be cracking is crazy work. Okay, crazy work. So just to let y'all know, if you think Germans have dry humor, you need to check yourself. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below.